In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on two concepts, self-direction and directedness. And they're different concepts, but I want to show how they're related and how they tend to feed into each other. And I'm going to be philosophizing more deeply on the relationship between self-direction and optimal learning, but also how directedness is a way of maturing the mind in relation to our self-direction that deeply involves the similar and the same processes of self-direction that's direct to learning and in particular optimal learning, but in which they slightly differ. You see, self-direction is more focused and it's more proximate to the process of learning, and it involves more of a focus or a direction, right? So there's multiple ways you can move, multiple directions, right? I can go into different directions, and that gives us a particular course that will influence a set of other factors in our environments, various material and immaterial substances, and it reconfigures the nature of thingness around us and in relation to the self, and it switches the nature of the boundness of truths there that tends to capture the thought and the thoughtfulness within ideas or thoughts or symbols or representations that are important for learning and forming these categoricals of learning that shape the characterizations and characterizations of how we think about the world and how we philosophize or psychologize or just cognate, right? Cognate involves thinking, and thinking often about direct points of information or truths. What's true and how can we know what's true? And this allows us to form a way of directing the self through these embodying learning processes that are occurring now and that are occurring subsequent and have these continuities. And that's intrinsic to learning, is this continuity and this progressive development and deepening of knowledge that expands it, but not just expands knowledge, it expands ourselves in relation to knowledge, in relation to this thoughtfulness that deepens our being and our existential essence and what we value and also the meaning intrinsic to our being and our existence, that allows us to form a deeper sense of masterfulness in regards to our own natures, a masterfulness that comes through our direct contact with the world. And this is developed primarily through engaging in the world and getting more into these embodied states of learning and really embodying knowledge. It's not so much just about knowing something, it's being able to enact it and to engage in a learning process in a deeply meaningful way that's really conducive to self-direction. And as we become more self-directed, we also start to liberate ourselves, because what happens is that we start to see the various ways that meaning and knowledge can open up various avenues and possibilities, and what's possible for us in terms of possibilities and our potential through being able to engage in these meaningful truths that we retain through optimal learning processes. And when we're talking about something like directedness, we're more focused on aspects of individual differences that pertain to the self in position to one's own existence and the course in which they are headed towards becoming more of a mature, integrated individual within their own sense of what it means to be a mature and integrated individual within civilization or society or a community, or the most important part is your local surroundings. And this is often done through cultivating things like our strengths and strengthening our strengths and developing self-virtue, but also a greater sense of self-intelligence, which is direct to that maturity that you see in self-direction. So, and also directedness. So that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.